The Tigers defense earns their ticket to Tampa Saturday night. You actually used the word Dabo didn't want anyone to use, which is upsetting. She's a great teacher because I haven't fallen yet. No one is questioning what team he's rooting for right now. Look at that bling bling. Just go with one singular cactus that is behind me. Anyways, we'll move on to the Clemson Tigers. Every week we celebrate women in sports through our Woman Crush Wednesday segment. But you didn't quite know if Brad Brunell would be back yet. Well, now we do know. He was the one with the game-winning touchdown with 1 second left in the game, Friendy. I wish I would have known this before the show because I could have done like a history of Valentine's Day and the Tigers. If there's one thing the Tigers are good at, it's finding a way to win. She's only a freshman, so imagine being this young and playing on this big stage that's down the street over there. Her mother is currently in Alabama right now for a firefighter competition. There's a lot of flashy numbers around the Gamecocks' success, both for the men and the women. And Corey, a couple members of that explosive Clemson offense come from right here in Tampa. Ben Boulware dominated with 18 tackles. Head coach Dabo Swinney even said he looked Luke Kuechly-ish. For Lawton, for Jackie, and for Matt Dell, I'm Courtney King. That was Solid Orange for this week. We will catch you next Wednesday. Have a good night. Welcome back to Good Day Columbia, everyone. This Mother's Day, Tina Whitlock's son will find a way to show their gratitude. Their mother balanced the last 14 years as a single parent while coaching softball. They've also seen their mom come full circle. She still holds Gamecock records to this day, but the volunteer assistant at USC isn't the same woman she was during her playing days.
I'm 9 days away from giving birth to my second child. My world's unraveling before me. I had no idea really where I was, what I was going to do.
Tina Plew married Brian Whitlock in 1996.
Everybody loves a good love story, and I can say that I have one. We started our family 3 years into our marriage, and our first son, Aaron Whitlock, was born in July of 2000. 9 days before my second son was born, I got a call from work early in the morning, and they had said I needed to come to the hospital. Unfortunately, when I had arrived at the emergency room, they had told me that he had died.
An enlarged heart took her husband's life.
Everything was tested in a matter of moments.
Tina buried her husband, then gave birth days later.
We didn't have a name picked out for a boy because we thought we were going to have a girl, even though we didn't know for sure. And it seemed fitting to name my son after his father, and so we named him Brian.
Tina stayed at home with her boys for 4 years.
I told my boys that we were going to live like the birds, and that meant that we were going to make sure that our needs were met and that the wants, they would come as needed.
That meant flying back to the Diamond.
Now, my husband had always said that we were not moving north in the Mason-Dix line or west of the Mississippi. That was he wanted to stay home, he had roots, and that was it.
But the Whitlocks packed their bags for upstate New York. Tina took an assistant softball coaching job at Le Moyne University in Syracuse.
It really was a place of healing. And the first year I was there, we went to the World Series. I had a wonderful team. They really made it quite easy.
After her stint up north, she returned to the Palmetto State as Lander University's head coach in Greenwood. 7 years later, she had the opportunity to become a Gamecock again, this time as a volunteer assistant.
It didn't have to be anything grand. I knew it was good. You know, not only was it Division I, it was SEC softball, but it was my alma mater.
The same place she met her husband. What do you think that Brian would say about all of this?
I think he would say, stay the course. And he put a good old baby on there. Stay the course, baby.
Just a few years ago, her world turned upside down, but Tina found a way to survive.
You know, we're still getting through some of the toughest years there are. Time does heal. It does heal. You can love again, trust in love, and just participate in the life that you're given.
Now, Tina did find love again, and in Columbia. She's been in a relationship with a man named Mark for 3 years. The two actually met through Gamecock softball. Now, guys, coming up.
That's an incredible
I know.
story.
She was an incredible interview, but coming up the next hour, we'll actually hear from some of the coaches and the players around her, and they'll talk about how she's inspired them with this story, but just also how she is as a coach and as a person.